Hello and welcome into our team virtual classroom, our Zoom classroom. I'm so glad you're here with me, whether you're catching this live or on the recording. I'm thrilled that you're here and I'm hopeful to bring this new year, new you energy to your day and to your life as it stands here in 2021. So I'm teaching this class live in January 2021, but just want to start um, with a word of encouragement that whenever you're watching this, it's going to be the absolute perfect time for you to make a fresh start. I feel really strongly that you don't have to wait for a new year or a new month or a Monday or a certain date on the calendar to make a change. Whatever moment in time you choose is perfect. It is just right. And so whenever you're watching this, I just bless you to take it in and then act on whatever is resonating in your heart and in your spirit. So before we jump into the presentation, I do just want to give credit. I created this PowerPoint and adapted this class from a little pamphlet that I purchased a year or maybe even 2 years ago from a company that doesn't even exist anymore. So they probably won't mind if I did this or if I give them credit or not. But I just wanted to say I will be reading a little bit from this pamphlet. It was just really well done, and I added a few bells and whistles to make it my own. Um, but just wanted to give credit. But before I jump in to the presentation that I created to go along with it, just wanted to check in for a minute. Just take a moment. Maybe you've been rushing around, it's been a busy day, and now it's time to just settle in and do something for you. Um, and I love that. And so I just want you to be able to take a moment and take a couple of deep breaths and just check in with yourself. When I lead my guided meditations on Wednesday nights, I like to ask, how are you? How is it with your soul? And most people don't know how to answer that question. And it's fine if you don't have an immediate answer. But if you quiet yourself, quiet your mind just for a few minutes and take some deep breaths, think about maybe what some of your dominant thoughts or emotions or physical activities and just how you're feeling in your body. Has that have there been moments of strength and health and fitness in your day, or have there been moments of pain or aches or weakness, and where are those things? And just checking in with yourself and just getting a feeling for where you are. And then it's so much better to know what we need. And so if we enter into this class from a position of, okay, here's where I am, this is what I'm truly needing, then as I go over the information, don't feel like you have to absorb every little tiny bit of it, but just take what's for you. And that way you won't feel overwhelmed. And hopefully you just feel really blessed with a little nugget that you can take away to bring some new life and new energy into this new season for you. Um, I personally have been feeling over the past couple of weeks just very emotionally heavy. And especially today, we had no sunshine today. We had a little higher temperatures here in central Ohio. We were in the mid 40s, but it was raining and gray and just dreary. And so I've felt overwhelming sadness today. And um, just not in the mindset that, oh yeah, I want to teach a class tonight. I'd honestly rather be just balled up on the couch or in my bed, but I am thrilled to actually be doing the class because I feel like it's what I need, and I hope that it brings what you need as well. And I feel that it's really important to have that awareness and then to seek out a healthy balance. So honoring what's hard, whether there are specific circumstances or it's just life in 2021, which just seems to be following along, right along after 2020. And so maybe there's nothing specific that you can pinpoint, but just honoring those things that are hard or that are challenging, recognizing that they're there instead of stuffing or shoving them down and just trying to push past them. We want to honor them and be able to process through them. And then at the same time, seeking out some healthy tools, strategies, just ways to keep going. And by the grace of God, on those days when we were feeling our strongest, just more of His strength pouring in, then maybe we have the ability to thrive a little bit and not just survive. So here is tonight's class, and I pray that this just arms you with encouragement and inspiration and some tools that you can put to great use as you move into this new season. Let me just share my screen with you. Let's get the right look here. There we go. And so we're going to start off by just reviewing our intentions for this class. We're going to start out talking about affirmations and what they are, how to incorporate essential oils and some specific recipes that might appeal to you. And just a quick note, as you're going through, you are more than welcome to screenshot or take notes on these rollerball recipes. They're written as rollerballs. They can be modified if you'd rather use them as diffuser blends. Just cut all the drops in half, and then you can use it as a diffuser blend. And then a third option, if you're interested in the roller blend and you would like, I have a limited amount of these really cute purple bottles and lids, or the clear bottles and purple lids, and I have a supply of stickers to create these blends, and they would be $10 a piece. And so think of it as a little virtual make and take. If you'd really like one of these blends in this cute packaging, I'd be happy to put them together for you. Just text me or comment after the class. Just let me know which one you're interested in. And if I still have the stickers for that, I'd be happy to make it up for you. Or if you're not picky about the packaging, if we have a lot of interest and I run out of the cute purple bottles and stickers, we can always get creative and put it together for you in a color or a look that feels right for you. So let me know if you're interested, and we can also do virtual make and take. Any of the recipes would be $10 a piece. And so after we're going to spend most of our time really digging into the oils and how they can come alongside you with your affirmation practice, just soaking in truth and support you. And once we do that and get a good foundation from our essential oils, and then we'll look at how we can move forward with that new knowledge and just feeling armed and empowered by these oils and affirmation practice. We're going to move into just some pro tips on putting together a vision board, working through goals, some examples of healthy habits, and a couple of ways for you to engage beyond this class to start your year off right. So let's begin with affirmations. And if you're not sure what they are, the way that I like to think about them and use them is that they are truth. In my opinion, affirmations are rooted in scripture. We read in Romans 12:2 that we can be transformed by the renewing of our minds. And so this concept of holding our thoughts captive, just knowing what we're thinking about on a regular basis, and is that supporting us are these high vibrational and life-giving thoughts, or are they actually undermining us and disrupting what we're trying to do with low vibrational, unsupportive thoughts? And so it's just important to develop well-worn paths. And we have so much control, we have so much choice in how we live our lives, in specifically here, what we're thinking about. And I think you're going to see as we go forward how important that can be, not only to what you're thinking in your mind, but how it affects your mood and your emotions and your physical body. And so our thought processes, which can be highly influenced by soaking in the truth, repeating affirmations, is so important. So let's take a next step and think about how we can combine affirmations or truth with some essential oils. And I'm going to read to you a little bit from the booklet that I showed you that this class content originated from, because I think that they just did a really good job of summarizing this information. And I thought I would begin there. So I usually like to say, stand back, I'm about to do science, but in the book it said, let's get nerdy. And I thought that was fun too. You can call me a nerd all day long. Learning this, how the body works and interacts with essential oils, has just been one of the highlights of my life. I never thought I would enjoy science, and I've never been happier to be proven wrong about something. So let's jump in. The little picture on your screen shows your sense of smell and aroma coming in through the nose, connecting with the olfactory bulb, which is located just behind the nasal cavity area, and then connecting directly with the limbic system in the brain. Aromas can have such a powerful impact on mood and emotions. The smell receptors located on the upper surface of the nasal cavity make direct links with the limbic system of the brain, an area that governs emotions. Different aromatic compounds can elicit specific emotional responses. And that's what we're going to get into when we talk about these. I'm going to highlight a few different oils for you. The benefits of aroma extend far beyond just emotional regulation. Olfactory centers are also intricately linked with the hypothalamus, an area of the brain that controls physiological functions throughout the body and directly interacts with the pituitary gland. Because of the direct link of the olfactory system to this area of the brain, aroma is capable of interacting directly with the hypothalamus, influencing neurochemistry throughout the body. Because of this, essential oils can be powerful tools in creating lasting mindset and behavioral shifts, which is exactly what our end game is here with this class. I don't know about you, but there were a couple of words in there that piqued my interest, and I thought, I love what they're saying. They're saying that we're going to breathe something in, and it's going to interact in our brain, and it's going to shift our thinking and our physical body. But I would love to know a little bit more about that. And so I looked up the hypothalamus, and it's actually involved in daily activities such as eating and drinking. It helps control body temperature and energy maintenance. It aids in the process of memorizing information and stress control, and it modulates the whole endocrine system through connections with the pituitary gland. And I wanted to learn then a little bit more about the pituitary gland. What does that do? And so it produces all kinds of hormones. The pituitary is a little tiny gland about the size of a pea that is located at the base of the brain, there by the brain stem, kind of if you're looking at the graphic on screen, right at the bottom of that brain material that's coming down toward the neck there. You would find this little pea-shaped gland, and this is a great illustration of big things coming in a small package, because even though it's only the size of a pea, it's known as the master gland. It produces many hormones, and then each of them affects a specific part of the body, targeting either an organ or tissue. And then it controls the function of most of the other endocrine glands. And that's why it's called the master gland. And so it has control over thyroid, adrenals, uterus, and mammary glands. So just between the hypothalamus and the pituitary gland, if you think about the impact just breathing in a certain aroma can have on the mind and the body, those were a lot of important things that I just listed. I become very excited then about the power that we have in these simple, beautiful tools to help us maybe do some rewiring and really put some power behind this is who I want to be and this is what I want to do in this new season. So let's look at some specifics. These are examples of affirmations that you might consider as you engage in this important and life-giving work. And I want to just underscore that these are examples. These are just basic sentences. I, again, pulled these from this pamphlet, but you can change any of these words if you have something speaking to your heart, whether that comes from scripture or a song lyric or a quote, something that you know to be true and you can test it. If it's life-giving to you and you want to make a change, by all means, make one of these, at least one of these or a variation of it, your own, and take that into your new year with you. I would encourage you, and you can screenshot this if you want and then work on edits later. I've got a few more and you'll notice these all have little names to them. So say you're interested in abundance, but those words don't necessarily gel for you. You may want to stay in the category of abundance or abundance mindset versus scarcity. And so you're just going to change some of those words, but keep the theme of abundance, because these 7 themes are then going to correlate with the essential oil recipes that I'm going to share. And so here's 3 more of them. And my advice would be, as you make changes, to choose words that stretch you a little bit and that speak to your heart. And that's how you'll know that they're right for you. And so let's take a next step then. I'll give you another second to screenshot this if you need, to begin pairing these words with some essential oils that are just going to bring layers of support and encouragement into your life. So I have picked 8 single oils for us to review tonight, and a few of them are hopefully going to be ones that you already have on hand. These are old standbys that you're just going to grab from your collection, and I invite you to experience them with me as we go. And then some of them hopefully will be a little bit of a stretch as well. I like to take these, I like to call them everyday heroes, such as wild orange. This one's up first, so go ahead and pull that out. Breathe it in. And go ahead and add a drop or 2. I usually get a couple drops of citrus. Breathe it in. And go ahead and put that on the back of your neck. You can add things to your pulse points. And I'm just going to reach in. I purposely just wore this little V-neck sweater tonight so that I could reach in and add a little bit of these oils over my heart. As I mentioned, I'm just having a really heavy emotional day. And so I'm hoping that these oils are just going to really lift me up and do the same for you. And so I love to look at these everyday heroes in maybe some new ways to just expand your thinking, your knowledge about them, and how you're going to use them in your everyday life. So what I'm going to do with each of these oils that I'm going to spotlight is give you just a brief overview of some of the physical benefits, and then read to you from a very favorite book of mine called Essential Emotions, just a paragraph or 2 on each oil to help you grasp how it's going to support you emotionally. So wild orange, and I want to kind of make a blanket statement because I'm going to cover 3 different citrus oils. And so I'm not repeating the same things over and over. all citrus oils do a certain number of things for the body. They're cleansing, detoxifying, they will give you a boost to your energy, and they're uplifting to your emotions. Many of them are also great to add in your green cleaning efforts around the home. They all smell and taste delicious. So they're all great choices to add to your water as you're getting your water intake in every day. A couple of physical things that are special about wild orange is that it's excellent for immune support, and it can also help with sleep issues. So if you're not a person who's found relief with lavender or serenity or Roman chamomile or cedarwood, some ones that you might think of quickly with regard to rest and calm. Maybe those haven't worked really well for you. Try a drop of wild orange under your tongue before bed, and that may unlock the secret to better sleep for you. Some people who don't respond to traditional calming oils respond much better to wild orange. So maybe a different way to think about your wild orange. If you have restless thoughts, stress in the evening, and you have trouble falling asleep or staying asleep. And then emotionally, wild orange is the oil of abundance. And so we definitely want to bring an abundance mindset with us into the new year. We want to step away from scarcity mindset, thoughts of I don't have enough or I'm not enough, and come into abundance, the concept that we have a loving Heavenly Father who has created a beautiful planet for us to live on that has everything that we need for us. That's the mindset that we want to operate out of. And so wild orange is the essential oil that helps to foster and maintain that emotionally, mentally, and emotionally. So let me just read a little bit about wild orange. And it's nice to, if you have your bottle with you, to just smell this a little bit while you're either listening to or reading this truth. We're already engaging in that anchoring process, combining that aroma, bringing that aroma in, combining it with the power of these truthful words. Wild orange addresses a wide variety of emotional issues. It inspires abundance, fosters creativity, and supports a positive mood. Wild orange also reconnects individuals with their inner child and brings spontaneity, fun, joy, and playfulness into one's life. At its core, wild orange teaches the true meaning of abundance. It encourages individuals to let go of scarcity mindsets with all of their manifestations, including fear, nervousness, inflexibility, workaholism, lack of humor, and or the belief that there is not enough. Wild orange reminds the soul of the limitless supply found in nature. Fruit trees, like the orange tree, give freely to all in need. This oil teaches individuals to give without thought of compensation. In nature, there is always enough to go around. Wild orange encourages individuals to let go of their need to hoard, which is the epitome of scarcity. So if this is resonating with you, if this wild orange or abundance mindset feels like something that you need, here are a couple of recipes to consider. Recipe 1 combines wild orange with frankincense, cinnamon, and geranium. And recipe 2 combines wild orange with tangerine, jasmine, and rose. And totally up to you. And you can also tinker with these recipes if you want. But you may be drawn to one or the other based on what you have in stock or how something smells. And you can always do a muscle test and just hold the essential oil up in front of you, smell it, see if you like the smell. That's always a good indication of being something that your body needs. And if your body physically moves toward it, then that's also an indication that it's something that your body needs or wants. So I'll try to keep these recipe slides up for just a moment so they can be screenshot as well. Our next oil is going to be lemon, another everyday hero. Just find my place in my book. So a couple of physical attributes of lemon. It helps, with green cleaning, which I did mention in wild orange, I do like to call out specifically lemon for as a natural goo gone. So if you have a sticker or a tag that's leaving residue on maybe a picture frame or something ceramic or glass, and you need to get that sticky substance off, lemon is amazing for that. And then whatever it is, even if you're giving it as a gift, then it has this amazing smell to it. So that's really fun. And it can remove permanent marker. If someone has just a little mistake, or if you have a child that went a little crazy with a marker, maybe he or she thought was washable and it's not, lemon is your friend. And so those are some great specific green cleaning uses for your lemon. Then physically, it also helps with congestion, tightness in the chest, and it helps boost alkalinity in the body. So that would be another reason why it's great to drink in your water. Emotionally, lemon is the oil of focus. And let me just read again from the book for a minute. The delightful citrusy aroma of lemon oil engages the mind and aids concentration. While lemon supports the emotional body, its major effects are experienced in the mental field. The crisp scent of lemon oil improves one's ability to focus. Lemon is a wonderful aid for children struggling with school. It teaches individuals to be mentally present by focusing on one thing at a time. Lemon dispels confusion and bestows clarity. It counterbalances mental fatigue due to too much studying or reading, and lemon restores energy, mental flexibility, and the drive to complete a project. Now, this paragraph leans a little bit toward children and school and studying, and I just want to expand that and let you know that if you're an adult, whether or not you're pursuing some form of higher education, if you have a job inside or outside the home, or you are parenting full-time, lemon could be a great friend to you as well. I would insert decision fatigue in there when it talks about mental fatigue, where it mentions too much studying or reading. It could just be too much thought, maybe getting trapped in overwhelm. I think decision fatigue is real. And as adults, and especially as parents, there are just so many things flying at us all day long where we have to make decisions over and over. That can just be so mentally draining. Lemon is a great support for that. And I would combine that with healthy habits, which we will get to at the end of this class, as a way to help protect you from experiencing decision fatigue on a daily basis. If there are things that you can plan ahead and set up for yourself, then the less decisions you'll have to make on a daily basis. And that can be really helpful. So let me show you a couple of recipes if this is speaking to you. These are called Onward and Upward. And we've got lemon, peppermint, and frankincense. And then we've got passion, cheer, and bergamot. Now, the cheer blend has lemon in it. And combining that with bergamot, the recipe 2 is going to be pretty fruity, if that appeals to you, whereas recipe 1 is going to be a little more balanced with your fruit and your mint and your tree oil, which is frankincense. It's going to bring a little grounding there to you. So take a look at those, see if those are appealing. And just as a reminder, if you want to consider these as diffuser blends, I would cut these numbers in half at least. As long as you keep a general hierarchy with your drops, like say for recipe number 2, you could do something like 3 passion, 2 cheer, and 1 bergamot. and try that in your diffuser and just play with it and see what works for you. But just cutting them at least in half and not overwhelming your diffuser. Less is more. We want to stretch our oils and have them last as long as they can. Okay, peppermint is next. Another one that I consider an everyday hero. Physically, this is great for any type of tension, but I specifically like it for head and neck tension. It's great to just rub on and massage. You know what? I totally forgot to get my lemon out. So let's just take a moment because I seriously don't want to miss any oil tonight. So I'm just going to take a moment and apply my lemon, which I forgot. And then follow it up right away with peppermint. Let's do a drop or two. Don't feel like you have to experience all the oils. If something just doesn't smell right to you or feel right in this moment, no pressure. I'm just needing all the oil love this evening. So I'm going to be doing up every single one. I'm going to leave this open. So peppermint is also amazing for respiratory and digestive support. You can probably feel that respiratory support as soon as you breathe it in. Digestive support, great on the tummy, no matter what's going on. It can help you overcome that. It's wonderful for oral care. If you're experiencing low energy or mental fog, this is a great friend. It's also good for general aches, inflammation, and regulating your body temperature. Now, I just put a little bit of that peppermint on the back of my neck and I can already feel my temperature coming down. I'm in that phase of life where sometimes my temperature just spikes up really high without any notice, typically during the night. And so I love to keep a little peppermint by the side of my bed so that if I have one of those episodes, just do a quick swipe across the back of the neck. And it just helps regulate that temperature right away. Works like a charm. And then emotionally, peppermint is the oil of a buoyant heart. And so let me just read a little bit about what that means. Peppermint brings joy and buoyancy to the heart and soul. It invigorates body, mind, and spirit, and reminds individuals that life can be happy, and they don't have to be controlled by fear. It lifts an individual out of their emotional trials for a short reprieve. When individuals use peppermint, they feel as though they're gliding through life. It assists in staying on the surface of emotional issues, like floating on top of water. The power of peppermint can be felt most in times of discouragement or despair. When individuals are disheartened, they may use peppermint to rediscover the joy of being alive. And I think this is a great example of what I was talking about at the very beginning of the class, where we want to find that healthy balance. So we wouldn't want to overuse our peppermint and stay on the surface of our emotions and never experience them and process through them. We don't want to avoid permanently our emotions, but we do want to find ways to get through our day. If we have to go to work, if we have to take care of children, whatever it is we need to do, if we need to table those heavy emotions for a little bit, then peppermint can be really supportive in that. And because I'm having such a heavy day, peppermint is a great choice for me today. So let me look forward. The recipes that I have associating with peppermint are under the heading, "This is my time." And so kind of that flavor of no matter what the circumstances, no matter what is swirling around me, I still stand firm in who I am and what I'm doing. This is my time. I claim it, I receive, and I move forward. So you've got wild orange, lemon, peppermint, and eucalyptus there in recipe 1, and recipe 2 is bringing a lot more citrus to the party. Citrus Bliss Motivate, which has peppermint in it, clary sage, and sandalwood. So if those might bless you, make a note, take a screenshot, and then we will move on again to lavender. And this is the last one that I would call an everyday hero, probably something that you already have on hand. And let me just take a moment to enjoy a little lavender. Oh, there it is. I'm getting low in this bottle, so it takes a little while to come out, and then you get a whole bunch. That's okay. I know I will benefit. A lot of these oils really give you a pick-me-up, which I was counting on. But it's nice to have the balance of an oil like lavender to layer over that. Since for me, it is evening and I don't want to be so energized that I can't fall asleep tonight. So I'm going to leave this open and breathe it a little bit while I share. So physically, your lavender is going to help with stress. It's going to help to calm any anxious feelings. It helps with sleep. It's wonderful for anything skin. It's great to have in your natural first aid kit. It provides respiratory support, and then on and on and on. We call it the Swiss Army knife of oils for a reason. When in doubt, you want to get your lavender out. So there's pretty much no limit to what you can use your lavender for as far as physical needs. And then let me just flip in my book. Emotionally, lavender is the oil of communication and calm. And it's this beautiful picture of balance. So stress was the first thing that I mentioned with this oil. And oftentimes when you're in a stressful environment, you need two things. You need something to help you calm down if things are racing and confusing or overwhelming, but then you don't want to come down to a point that then you're like just slumped over in a chair and you're not physically capable of anything. So you also need to be uplifted in the right way so that you can think clearly, make decisions, and communicate. So lavender is one of those beautiful oils that does both for you. It can help bring that sense of calm, but it can also help you collect yourself and keep going. So kind of the best of both worlds. Let me just read to you a little bit from the book. Lavender aids verbal expression and calming the mind. Specifically, it calms the insecurities that are felt when one risks their true thoughts and feelings. Lavender addresses a deep fear of being seen and heard. Individuals in need of lavender hide within, blocking their true self-expression. While they may be going through the motions of outward expression, they're actually holding back their innermost thoughts and feelings. The expression is not connected to the heart or soul. Lavender encourages emotional honesty and insists that one speak their innermost thoughts and desires. As individuals learn to communicate their deepest thoughts and feelings, they are liberated from their self-inflicted prison. It is through open and honest communication that an individual has the potential to experience unconditional love, acceptance, and peace of mind. Through lavender's courageous spirit, one is free to share their true self with others. And just to distinguish, I'm going to talk about a second oil in just a few minutes that also addresses communication. And so I want to distinguish lavender, I think of as more interpersonal and one-on-one. It's wonderful in a counseling or prayer environment if you're meeting with a pastor or a small group leader or a spiritual director, or if you see a clinical counselor. Lavender is wonderful to aid in those types of communications on a professional level or a ministry level, or even in just an interpersonal relationship. So just having an important conversation, I think of lavender as that more intimate support system for you. Um, and so let's look at a couple of recipes. We've got and this is under the category of I love me. And so maybe you're a person who spends a lot of time helping others, thinking about others, taking care of others, and you kind of get left behind. So if you're thinking in terms of self-care as part of something new that you'd like to do or engage in more, then one of these blends might be for you. The first one incorporates lavender with frankincense and balance. The second one is geranium, console, and lang lang. And console has some lavender in it with some additional amazing oils. So just give you a minute to screenshot that. And then we'll move on to basil. And maybe this is one that you don't know as well as some of these others. This is an amazing kitchen oil. Love the smell of it. And I think it's going to bring something really unique and wonderful to this little blend that I'm creating here as we go. Basil is wonderful for any type of physical fatigue, whether it's just fatigue in general, just tiredness, low energy, or specific to adrenal fatigue, mental fatigue. And then if you have aches, if you need support for your muscles, if you're having cramps, and then also it's good for skin. This was an oil that was recommended to me when I was recovering from my former skin issues. And so I always like to mention that. Emotionally, this is the oil of renewal. And I wonder if anyone else is noticing, I just love how the emotional properties of an essential oil tie so closely to the physical. And so you can kind of almost guess what something is going to do. Just as an example, like hopefully this is, you can see what I'm talking about with the basil. So we're talking about fatigue and cramping and muscular support and skin, just like these regeneration and rejuvenation kind of needs. And then it ends up being the oil of renewal, which just seems to fit emotionally perfectly. So like lemon, for instance, is the oil of focus. And some of the things that lemon really helps to do is clear out congestion or indigestion or tightness in the chest. And so if you think about the physicality of those symptoms and what that feels like to be congested or locked up, it's not easy to focus. You're not having clear respiratory function if you're congested. You might not be able to make decisions or think clearly if your brain is congested. So they kind of just go hand in hand, and I love that. So I like to point that out. But continuing on with basil, oil of renewal, the symptoms of adrenal exhaustion help identify the main moods that are improved with basil, primarily fatigue, low energy, being overwhelmed, and the inability to cope with life stressors. The smell of basil oil brings strength to the heart and relaxation to the mind. This oil is also excellent for states of nervousness, anxiousness, and despair. Basil oil supports those who are under a great deal of mental strain. It brings rejuvenation of vital forces after long periods of burnout and exhaustion. Basil oil may strengthen the adrenals and restore the body to its natural rhythms of sleep, activity, and rest. Basil oil is also helpful for recovery from negative habits. It gives hope and optimism to the tired soul. Basil may assist an individual in giving up false stimulants. By increasing natural energy, it helps individuals to achieve greater balance and health. In short, basil is indicated for those who are weary in mind and body, and for those in need of strength and renewal. So I hereby proclaim basil to be the official New Year, New You oil. Doesn't that sound amazing? So physically, mentally, emotionally, this oil of renewal may be just the one you need to support your goals in this new season. And so these blends are called Out with the Old. We've got recipe 1 with lemon, eucalyptus, basil, and rosemary. And I think that would smell amazing in a kitchen. That would be a great kitchen diffuser blend. Recipe 2 has Forgive and Console. And those are some heavy hitters, which I am going to mention just briefly at the end. So hang tight to learn just a little bit more. They're part of our emotional aromatherapy collection. And so I do want to say a little bit about that collection as a whole. I'm not going to, there's 6 oils in it, and I didn't want to add on 6 more oils, which are blends, which just create a lot to talk about. But I did want to mention them as a group. So we will do that at the end. And now we're going to look at 2 oils before we move forward. So we're going to do double duty and talk about 2 more that maybe you're not in the habit of using all the time, but are real favorites in our home. And I'm excited to share a little bit more with you. So spearmint, obviously in the mint family. So you may guess right off the top that it's going to be great for nausea, digestion, oral care, any type of aches, cramping, any muscle needs would be wonderful. I personally have never enjoyed the anise scent and taste in Digesten. And when the children's blend of Tamer came out, it actually features spearmint along with Japanese peppermint, which has a milder fragrance. And so the spearmint definitely takes the lead. I was so thrilled. That's what I use for my digestive needs. And so I'm a big fan of spearmint. As far as my digestive support from a physical standpoint. And then emotionally, this is the oil of confidence speech. And so my other big use for spearmint is when I do any type of public speaking. I will either do a spearmint shot or just drop some under my tongue. And it's wonderful. It's also really good in the summer to add to water. It's so refreshing. It's really crisp. Now you could make tea, you could do hot tea. I know people who love to do peppermint tea. You could switch that up and do spearmint instead if you want. Just boil your water as you normally would. Put your 1 drop of oil in the bottom of your mug and then pour your hot water on top. And you truly only need 1 drop. That will flavor your whole cup of tea. I love that so much. And so I hope this makes sense. Once again, we're talking about digestive issues and maybe cramps, things getting stuck. And we're going to talk about confident speech, being able to open up the mind, free the mind, and speak with confidence. And then this is the oil that I was trying to differentiate from lavender earlier. I love to think of public speakers when I use spearmint. So if you're trying to collect your thoughts and speak in front of a group of people or an audience, whether you're teaching, preaching, what have you, spearmint is a wonderful choice. So the oil of confident speech. Spearmint inspires clarity of thought and confident verbal expression. Individuals in need of spearmint may hide their thoughts, opinions, and ideas by withholding their voices. Spearmint encourages inner clarity about one's personal convictions and opinions. It then assists individuals in translating that inner clarity into words. Spearmint promotes confidence in expressing oneself verbally, especially when speaking in front of groups of people. It helps individuals create an effective stage presence by infusing them with confidence. Spearmint also encourages individuals to take a public stand on behalf of their values and opinions. Spearmint can be a helpful remedy for those who struggle with communicating clearly for a wide range of reasons, from feeling scattered and inarticulate to stumbling over one's words. It assists individuals in becoming emotionally clear about what they want to say and then saying it. In short, spearmint can help individuals access their inner light and convey that light to the world with clarity and confidence. So, and I would say, even if you don't feel like you're going to need to speak in front of an audience, that last line of just speaking with clarity and confidence, that may serve you no matter what you're doing in life. And if that resonates with you, then if you're trying to decide between lavender and spearmint, they're definitely very different oils. Your lavender is going to have more of a calming effect, whereas your spearmint is going to have more of a higher vibration and energy and really give you a boost. So hopefully that helps you decide if you're thinking back and forth between those two. And the next oil that we're going to look at is copaiba. Copaiba is another tree oil, so similar to, I guess one we didn't really talk about, frankincense. It's been in a couple of the blends since I just featured frankincense in the Oils of the Bible class right before the end of the year. And we really promoted it quite a bit in December, since through the Gift of Kings, you could get it for free. I thought, let's not talk about frankincense during this class and feature a different tree oil, which is copaiba. It's harvested the same way as frankincense. So you're going to tap into the tree like you would to get maple syrup. And the resin actually drips out from the tree, and then it hardens and it gets sorted and then brought back to liquid form for our essential oil. Copaiba is, how do I want to say it? It has such a deep and rich profile. It can be used for a lot of different things. I liken it to frankincense, as I was describing that, the way that it comes out of the tree, just how thick and rich it is, like a maple syrup as it comes out. The ways that it can be used, like a healing balm, whether you're looking at physical or mental, emotional, even spiritual needs, copaiba is extremely supportive for all of the above. So just a few quick physical notes include aches, inflammation, mood, even extreme moods such as panic. It's wonderful for anything skin, as well as first aid or wound care, scars, and it also helps regulate blood pressure, and it's wonderful for detox. And so those are just a few of the many highlights. And then copaiba, I'm definitely not going to read everything from the book because it actually goes on to the second page. Normally there's like 2 or 3 short paragraphs for each oil in this book, and for copaiba there are 5 very long paragraphs. And so I'm going to abbreviate it, and you can always go to the book if you want the full story, but that just shows you the depth and what you're getting into with this oil. And so if you're really looking for some deep healing, you may consider copaiba, which is called the oil of unveiling. Copaiba invites individuals to connect with their past. It offers a deep intertwining energy that links experience to unveil the deeper meaning and messages showing up in one's life. Copaiba respects the sacred sheltered within until it is ready to emerge into the light of consciousness. It then invites individuals to become thoughtfully aware of the shadow aspects of themselves and discover who they really are. Individuals in need of copaiba often find that vulnerable self-awareness work reveals unresolved pain in hidden recesses of their heart, mind, and body. Many discover that they are plagued with feelings of guilt, shame, inadequacy, or unworthiness that have been absorbed from their early environment. These shame-based feelings distort every interaction they have with life. Everything seen through the filter of less than creates a perception of the world that is extremely painful and ultimately defeating. Copaiba offers assistance to those caught in lower vibrations of shame, blame, fear, and self-loathing, and other unconsciously internalized emotions. It summons them to begin the unraveling and restoration process necessary for lasting healing and further awareness and insight. Quite beautiful. If you are exploring some deep work, emotional and spiritual work, then I highly recommend copaiba. And just a caveat, if you didn't gather this from the words that I was just reading, be prepared. Copaiba is your friend and it's here to help you process, but all steps in the process are not necessarily going to be fun. Some of the unearthing and unveiling and bringing forward some heavy, maybe dark emotions, some of which you maybe didn't even know you had. Some people are going to have events and memories of things that they know associate to those emotions, like fear and shame and so on. Others are not going to remember things. They were either too young to be able to record it, or their body just absorbed it from someone else and they don't even realize they're still carrying it. But at any rate, just be prepared as these heavy emotions start to appear in your awareness, that they can take a toll. And so you might want to just leave some extra space, have some extra grace, literally some time and some room to cry if you need to. You may want to schedule an appointment with a professional to be able to talk it through, and just know that healing is on the other side of that process. So with all that being said, we're going to look at these two beautiful recipes for In with the New. So recipe 1 featuring spearmint, citrus bliss, and bergamot. Recipe 2 then featuring copaiba, balance, and blue tansy. So very unique and different smells and feels with these. The recipe 1, it's just way more lighter in energy and spirit, whereas recipe 2, this is going to be for somebody who really wants to go deep and do some deep inner healing and work. So hopefully that helps you make a decision there. And then our last single oil that we're going to cover is grapefruit. And this is one of my very favorites. I always like to try to bring it to the forefront because I think everyone should love grapefruit. This is what I drink in my water every day. So refreshing. Just gonna breathe that in for a moment. So as a reminder, this is one of our citrus oils. It's going to have all those amazing citrus benefits. And then what's specific to grapefruit, that it's especially helpful with detox, weight management, addictions, appetite, and cravings. So that's why I choose grapefruit in my water. I love that it helps curb cravings and especially help handle a sugar addiction, which I have had my whole life. It's also really supportive to the gallbladder. So you can always just add some directly to your low back to help with your gallbladder function and support. And so physically, this is the oil of honoring the body, which can be really important as we set maybe some New Year goals around physical health, maybe what you're eating, maybe how you're moving your body, maybe how you look at or regard your physical body. So this is grapefruit. Grapefruit teaches true respect and appreciation for one's physical body. It supports individuals who struggle to honor their body and are caught in patterns of mistreatment. These forms of abuse may include severe dieting, judging one's body weight or type, and abusing the body through negligent behavior or violence. These acts are often motivated by hate and disgust buried within the psyche, which gets directed toward the physical body. Though individuals may obsess over how they look, deep down, they never feel they look good enough. There is a dissatisfaction that persists. Grapefruit oil is often misused in overly strict dietary and weight loss programs. The reason this oil helps curb emotional eating is because it encourages a positive relationship with one's body based on love, tolerance, and acceptance. Grapefruit encourages integrity by respecting one's physical needs. This oil assists individuals in listening to their true physical needs and impulses. It also assists them in taking responsibility for what they feel. Grapefruit teaches that no amount of food can fill a hole in the heart. Only love can do that. As individuals take ownership of their feelings and get the help they need in addressing them, they no longer have a need to hide their feelings behind food or body abuse, strict regimens, eating issues, or other forms of obsession. Absolutely beautiful. So good to pair grapefruit with any changes that you want to make in your nutrition, in your water intake, in moving your body on a regular basis. Highly supportive. And it's great if you're realizing, as I was reading, that you don't honor your body. If you think negative thoughts about your body, or if you let's see, if you regard your body with a mindset of shame about it, then it's wonderful to think of what's positive about your body. Are you strong in an area? You know, are your arms really good at lifting things, or are your legs really good at walking? It's so cool to just reverse any of those negative thoughts, just hold them captive, observe them, don't judge them, don't judge yourself, just kind of pull them out, recognize them, and say, oh, okay, that's not serving me. I'm going to replace it instead with something very positive. So you can get really specific on that. So think of something that your body does well, that you're really appreciative of. Maybe you're good at taking deep breaths. Maybe your respiratory system is amazing, and it never occurs to you during the day that you might not be able to get a deep, full breath. That's something that you've either taken for granted or you didn't even really think about very much. And so you might just really honor the fact that you're great at bringing in life and life-giving oxygen, which helps fuel all of your organs and tissues and keeps you moving. So just one little specific example there, but you can go in any direction with that. And so, probably not surprising, our last group of recipes features grapefruit and is called Fresh and Fit. If this is you, you might consider recipe 1, which has grapefruit, petitgrain, ginger, and cassia, or recipe 2, which features Slim and Sassy, which has grapefruit in it, and wild orange. So I'll give you a second to screenshot that one. And then, as I mentioned, I just wanted to highlight as a group of oils, the Emotional Aromatherapy collection. Whoops, peek, there they are. I absolutely adore each of these blends, and they are a wonderful investment if you're just looking for overall emotional support. I love that it has the word therapy in the name of this collection, because that's how in my brain I organize when I need to use a certain oil emotionally. So we have, when I do my emotional balance workshop, if you are geeking out on the emotional sides of these oils, then you might consider looking up either my essential emotions class or emotional balance workshop. Those are two more hour-long classes that go into detail on the emotional side of essential oils and how they work with the body. And so I have three categories of essential oils. One is just mood management. That's a group of 4 oils. On the one end, so say maybe you get to 3 o'clock during your day and you feel like you just need a little pick-me-up. Those oils are great for that. On the other end, if maybe you've had a diagnosis or you take a prescription for an emotional need, then I love to talk about our adaptive line as a support at that level. So think Goldilocks, what's in the middle, what's just right. So if you're feeling a little emotionally heavy, to the point that it's more so than just needing a boost to your mood, but it's less than having a real diagnosis or need for a prescription, then you're probably going to land in this emotional aromatherapy category. And I use therapy to remind me. So if it's big enough that you might want to have a conversation with somebody about it and say, man, I'm having pretty regular emotional needs and I could use some support. So if you would talk to somebody like a pastor or a counselor or a good friend, if you would ask somebody to pray for you about emotional needs, then these would be perfect oils. And they were all proven to be statistically significant in both raising positive emotions and lowering negative emotions when they were tested with the staff at an integrated oncology clinic. And so you think about who's working in a cancer clinic and what they're dealing with on a daily basis in their work environment, in addition to what all might be going on in their lives. When these oils performed so excellently for them, I know that they are going to be helpful for pretty much anyone out there. So highly recommend any of those. There's a nice mix depending on which oils you lean to or lean toward as far as what you like. There's a little bit of everything in these blends, whether it's trees, citrus, herbs, floral, mint, what have you. All the categories of oils are represented. I know you'll find something in these blends, and many of them, I think if not all, were incorporated in some of the recipes that we looked at. So just wanted to give a nod to these amazing blends. And so now hopefully you're gaining an understanding of this incredible support that's available to you through your thought process and combining those with these amazing essential oils. Let's go over just a few things that we can do now that we feel armed and ready. So I love a vision board. These are just a few pro tips for you to take with you. The sky is the limit. Do whatever you want with your vision board. Have total creative license and have so much fun doing it. There are lots of different options. I like to mix digital and paper. I started using a really fun app, and I'm going to get up for a minute. Sorry, I've got my phone charging over here because it was about to die right before I began. So I want to show you that I've created my vision board using an app, and so I have it digitally, and that enables me to use it as my lock screen on my phone. You can see it there. The app is called, let me just remind myself here. It's called Mixgram. And so it's that little, oh, it's kind of hard to see on my screen, but it's down here in this corner. It's the like pink and blue with a white logo in it. It's called Mixgram, and it's free. I don't like to pay for things if I don't have to. And I use the design, it's in the category called Wall, and it offers 12 spaces. And so you just scroll down and you pick, oh, that's really white, so that's really hard to see. Okay, you're going to trust me. So you're going to scroll down to the wall category and pick, and then maybe this will show up a little better. Yeah, if I put it on an angle there, you can see the template for that. And then you just click on each of the fields and put whatever photographs you want in there. And so they can be photos, they can be graphics. I love to create my own graphics in another free app, which I'll show you that one as well, called Word Swag. And that one's at the top right there. And so from my pictures, from what I've created, you can pull images from Pinterest or anywhere on the net and bring them into your vision board. And then I also combine, and I'll just show you my new vision board. It combines the printout of what I created digitally and some things that I've printed on paper and just backed with scrapbook. So it's just visually appealing. It's clean and I really enjoy looking at it every day. So the components to my vision board include this graphic vision board that I created with Mixgram, an excerpt from a book study that I just finished that was really powerful to me, the definition of my word for the year, which is nourish. I really liked the definition, it spoke to me, and my scripture for the year is down here. I love being able to meditate on this scripture on a daily basis, and it's fun. This one's a little longer than some that I've had in the past, and I've already been on just a really fun adventure with the Lord, having him speak to me in different ways through that scripture. So a few more tips. Make sure you have it somewhere you can access it regularly. It should be in plain sight. Take time to visualize on a regular basis. I like to incorporate my affirmations, my oil, and my vision board early in the day during my morning ritual. And another thing that I love to do while I'm looking at the vision board, I'm thinking my affirmations, I'm breathing my oil, just taking it all in. So it's this amazing sensory experience. I also like to stand in a yoga pose that feels really strong to me. So I pick Warrior Two. And so just for about 2 or 3 minutes, just stand in the pose and take in the vision board while you're thinking through your affirmations and breathing your oils. It's very powerful. It's an amazing way to start the day. If you don't want to do a yoga pose, another fun thing to do is take a Superman or Wonder Woman stance. And so you just want to get fists, strong arms, put them on your hips, and stand very confidently before your vision board and just imagine all that the future holds as you take all of that in. So just a reminder that your vision board is a work in progress, and you may want to update it every January or just as needed. So no pressure to do the vision board at a certain time, but just when it feels right for you. And then I love this idea of a celebration ritual. It's kind of sad, I think, to just take down your vision board at the end of the year or whenever you swap it out without recognizing if maybe you accomplished some of your big goals. So I just created just real simply this binder. It's not even really a binder, it's just a little thin folder, but it's got 3-hole punches so that you can just pull some things off your vision board and capture them in here. Like when I rank advance, I put my certificates, different things that I've put on my vision board. I'll just cut out or put in here and make a few notes just to remind myself what I accomplished or maybe how I felt, and to just take a moment and really celebrate. Sometimes we can get caught up in just moving into the next thing and the next thing and the next thing without taking a moment to celebrate and realize, hey, something big just happened. I experienced a shift, and I want to recognize that. And that's so important. There's a lot of power in doing that. So I highly recommend not just trashing it at the end, even if it's electronic, find a way to capture it. And maybe you have a digital journal and just save it there and recognize what you accomplished over the course of the year. If you're looking for some ideas on what to include in a vision board, these are a bunch of categories. Like I mentioned, the sky's the limit, but maybe it's your first time and you don't even know where to begin. Then go ahead and screenshot or take notes on these categories as a place to begin. Should get those. And then taking a next step beyond our thoughts and our vision, we want to start to plan and dream a little bit and set some actual goals, maybe putting these to paper or to a calendar. And so I love these questions. They, again, came from the little booklet that inspired this class. And we begin by reflecting back. And you can do this over the past year. You can do this over the past quarter, over the past month, week, wherever you are as you're taking in this information, you can apply it. But first, you want to start kind of in that same mindset of celebrating. Just go over the recent past and consider what went well, and just take a few minutes to go over that. And looking back on a year like 2020, you might be compelled to think, oh, it was just a waste. Everybody can agree that was just a terrible year. And but maybe it wasn't. Maybe you also did some amazing things last year. And when you sit down and go back over month by month, and maybe using like some family landmarks, milestones, birthdays, anniversaries, things like that to spur your memory. Ask the Holy Spirit to help remind you. Show us, God, how you were good to us. He's faithful and he will do that. And so then you'll know, oh my goodness, I totally forgot. This amazing thing happened. And so you want to capture those before you would look back and think about what didn't go well. And so then moving forward, what do I want to do this year? What changes do I want to see? What do I need to do to make those changes? We do that all within the framework of I've also accomplished some amazing things, even during challenging times. And so I have the power, I have the ability to move forward in confidence. I can do this. And so, yes, from a place of support and encouragement and reminders of God's goodness in your life, that's how you want to go forward into what else you can do or what's next. And mind maps are a wonderful tool. This is something that I use in my coaching to help you break down a goal. And so you just want to state your goal simply in the middle and then create little spokes out from it. And a really easy example that I love to share is, say that you want to just start drinking more water. And so drink water goes in the middle, and then all the things that you'll do to break that down to make sure you actually drink water, you want to put all around it. And maybe there's only a few, and that's great, or maybe you can think of more. But I like to think of things like, how much do I weigh, so that I can calculate half my body weight in ounces of water. That's at least where I want to start with my water intake on a daily basis. What water bottle am I going to use to drink out of? Do I know where it is? Is it clean? Is it, available on a regular basis so I can use it? And then do the math. How many ounces of water does that bottle hold? Or if you're going to use a certain glass out of your kitchen, just being consistent with that. How many times do you need to refill that vessel during the day? So just things like that you want to break down and get all of that planned out and ready to go, so that on a daily basis, when you want to say, I'm going to drink half my body weight in ounces of water today, you're totally equipped to do it. So that's kind of the concept behind a mind map. And that's a very simple goal in terms of what it takes to accomplish it. Doesn't mean it's easy. But that's a simple one. So for example, when I created my new website, I also made a mind map for that, but it was very complex and it had many spokes coming out in lots of different directions. So they can be simple, they can be complex, but in either example, they're extremely helpful. And so I always recommend mind mapping once you know what your goals are. And I also recommend just focusing in on maybe one personal goal and one business goal. And if you have maybe one goal as a family at a time, and don't go beyond that, because then it can be overwhelming. And you just really want to be able to focus in and do something well, and then build upon it. And so then I wanted to close with healthy habits. I'm just going to grab a quick drink of water. These are, if you would break down what my rhythm of life looks like on an annual basis, these would be the healthy habits that make that up. And these are just some ideas. And I've been working on my rhythm of life for the past 8 years. And so it's definitely been a work in progress. I love building upon it and adding to it. My healthy habits, I consider my lifelines or lifesavers. These are so important to me when the world becomes uncertain, which it has been quite a bit over the past year and a half or so. Um, these are my anchors. This is what keeps me going. It's what keeps me from making bad choices all the time, which I want to do. um, these are the rails that I run on, and they're so supportive and life-giving and life-saving to me that I love sharing them. So do an annual personal retreat for a long weekend. Then I revisit that, whatever transpires during that weekend, which is always magical and amazing. Um, I revisit that during quarterly retreat days. I just call them my CEO days, and I don't take appointments and I don't take phone calls during those days. Just block out that 1 day per quarter on my calendar, and I make sure I do an iTovi scan along with that to just realize what oils would be most supportive to me during that new season. And then monthly, and obviously there are more things that I do, but I just want to give a high level overview. Monthly, I pick one healthy habit that I really want to focus on, either going deeper on something that I already do well or introducing something new, and which oils are going to come in and help me do that. Weekly, I do my Sunday setups for success. And on my Sunday afternoons, I do as many things as I can possibly do to help myself during the week. And especially during the winter, especially during these cold, dark times. I just plan on a baseline that I'm going to wake up in the morning and I'm not going to want to do anything that I'm supposed to do. And supposed to do meaning it's what I feel like I should do, what I want to do, my goals and dreams and all of that. And so given that baseline, just setting the bar really, really low, what can I do to help myself? And so I'll pick out my clothes for the week. I count out all my supplements for the week. I plan my calendar and schedule, not only things that I have to do, but what's the family doing? How's all that going to move and flow? I'll plan out my meals, make a grocery list, on and on, just whatever I can do to get the house in order and get things lined up. So if I'm just stumbling into my day, like I don't know who I am or what I'm supposed to be doing, I've got all of these things lined up that I can just stumble into, and they're going to be supportive to me. And then I have on a daily basis little themes. So I kind of have different mindsets depending on the different day, which is so good for me as an introvert to feel like I have days in my calendar that are more quiet and stay at home, and less people-y, and other days where I just know those are the days that I'm going to be on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. Those are my biggest people days where I'm teaching, I'm meeting, I'm making phone calls, I'm inviting, I'm presenting, all of these more people-y activities. It just feels good to know that they're grouped, there's a place for them, and that I'm not going to be every single day feeling low on my energy because I'm giving it away in interactions with people. That's just an introvert thing. But this can always be tailored to meet whatever your life looks like or whatever your needs are in this season. And then within that day, I love my morning and evening rituals as bookends and being able to do some time blocks in between. So I know that I have a healthy balance, especially as a person who works from home, of serving my family well, doing my chores, if you will, or I like to call it blessing my home and my family, as well as helping with our finances and doing my work and my ministry. Just always want to have excellent balance built in, and I find that anchoring to healthy habits is the best way to do that. So let's wrap up. I want to just encourage you with a couple of invitations. If you're loving this class and where it's headed, here are a couple more things, ways for you to engage and go a little bit deeper. So if you're looking to start your year off right, we have 2 opportunities for you, and feel free to engage in both of them if you like. I think they will overlap nicely. The first is sponsored by doTERRA Corporate, and that is their Power of Healthy challenge. It's a 21-day challenge to help you build healthy habits. And to participate, you're going to want to text healthy. And I think it's in all caps. I'm not sure if that's required, but I just reminded myself and went back and looked what I did. And I did type it in all caps. So type text healthy to 386-457. That's 386-457. And then they're recommending that you get this special kit, which has the Healthy Habits kit as well as the new nutrition line in it. And if you want to purchase that kit, it's 10% off through the end of January. And that's an amazing deal. And I highly recommend everything included in the kit. But if you're a seasoned oiler, you may have a lot of what you need. You may only want to grab the new nutrition line or the items that you're really interested in out of that. I wouldn't feel pressure if you're starting from scratch to do all of these things. The nutrition line has 5 different products that you can try, but you may just want to try one of the proteins. It comes in chocolate, vanilla, or plant-based. And then there's a greens product and there's a fiber. And so just think through what feels right for you to take the next step and invest where it makes sense. And then the Healthy Habits or Daily Habits kit is wonderful, but you may already have a lot of these things on hand as well. You got your LLV, Lifelong Vitality Pack, your Terrazyme, PB Assist Plus probiotic, Deep Blue Rub, and 5 different oils. And so you may have those things on hand. But my reason for going through all of that is to say, whether you want to buy something or just use what you have, I would still participate. It's free. It's going to help you anchor into healthy habits. And regardless of using specific things, I think there's going to be a lot of good tips and tricks on just how to incorporate healthy habits this new year. So that kicks off on February 1st. And as long as you text healthy to 386-457, then they're going to text you back and let you know everything you need to participate. And then the second opportunity is my life coaching, which is a whole health, whole life approach to coaching, which I offer. My next group experience is just about to launch. I'll be going live for our kickoff event Thursday evening this week. That's January 28th. So if you're watching this live in January of 21, then these dates are relevant. As far as the doTERRA event kicking off February 1st, that's 2021, and the Refresh Your Life program kicking off live Thursday, January 28th in the evening, and that just kicks off a few days of bonus content if you want to get in early. But the program officially begins on February 2nd, and I'll be going live in a private Facebook group each Tuesday at noon during the month of February. And this is a 4-week group experience, so you get to just dip your toe into what life coaching is all about. You'll have 1 week of refreshment and reorientation in each of 4 beautiful themes. The themes are capturing the desires of your heart, curating your environments and experiences, cultivating relationships, and creating a life you love. As I mentioned, we'll begin with a live kickoff event. Then that will follow with the weekly live coaching events. There'll be daily doses of inspiration and encouragement for you, printable worksheets that you get to keep, and a private Facebook group for you to interact with me and with other group participants. And then that is available to you. You'll get to keep your membership in the group and anything that you print, and the recordings of the 5 sessions, the kickoff, and the 4 weeks. You'll get to keep those forever. The investment is only $100. And again, that begins this week. If you want to get in with the bonus content a little early, or officially begins February 2nd. And at that point, at February 2nd, I will turn off the registration because I do want to just preserve the integrity of the group. And I don't want to have new people popping in at different times. I want us to be able to all journey together. And I will be offering that quarterly. So if this is not the right time for you, either time wise or budget wise, it will be coming up again in the late spring. And so you can look for that if that feels better. So I just want to thank you for being here again, whether you caught this live or over the recording. And I want to come back to the sentiment that I opened the class with featuring this quote by T.S. Eliot: "Every moment is a fresh beginning." So whether or not you're experiencing this class and all these tools and tips and knowledge and empowerment in January of 21 or literally any day, if now is the moment that you felt like you needed to experience a little bit of new year, new you, then that moment is perfect. And I just bless you to move forward in that. Let us know how we can support you in your journey. We are here for you. We are cheering you on. I thank you once again for being here, and say, here's to your continued health and wellness.